Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am so excited because I'm going to be answering some of your most juiciest questions about me or about life, getting some advice, things like that. I asked you guys on Instagram and on my Discord a while ago now about some questions that you guys might have for me, and I didn't get through all of them on a stream that I was using those questions for, so I did save the ones that I didn't answer. Some of them are a little bit more juicier than others, I will admit, but I'm kind of ready to just be honest. I think for the most part, people on the internet and content creation in general is still very staged and still done for entertainment, which is obviously kind of the point of it. But at the same time, I am very open in my general day-to-day life. I don't really have a lot of secrets. I'm happy to answer questions that people have about like my life, about my mental health, my sexuality, my sex life, my relationships, anything like that. I'm kind of pretty open to answering questions about, so I wanted to sort of give you guys a chance to learn a little bit more about me personally, and also sort of give a little bit of advice as well here and there. So I have your questions written down on my phone, so I'm going to be placing it in front of the camera, so if you see me looking down at my phone at any point, that is why I will be looking down rather than physically at the camera. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Alrighty, so the first question is, how do you deal with stress at work or in your personal life? Now, I am definitely by no means probably the rule, more the exception, is that the saying, to dealing with stress. I have diagnosed general anxiety and borderline social anxiety as well, and I have lived with this for most of my life, so my stress inducers are potentially going to be different to other people's because I get stressed a lot easier than others just in general due to that side of my mental health journey. For the most part though, I definitely find that just taking a step back before doing anything will definitely help with the stress load. This can go for both work and personal as well. If there's a lot on your plate, both professionally and personally, or one or the other, definitely taking a step back and just relaxing, getting in the zone before doing anything. It can be a lot if you're sort of really stressed and running around and doing all this stuff, and you are potentially going to miss things, and then that will obviously end up being worse later on down the track. So definitely taking a step back, writing things down, making a list. I know it's really like generic being like, oh, write things down, make a list, but genuinely like it helps me to know what I have going on, even if it's just a little sticky note on my desk at work. On my monitor I've got like the whole thing is filled with just little sticky notes, and then every time I do something I can pull the sticky note off, crumple it up, put it in the bin, and I don't have to think about it anymore. So I definitely like that sort of visual side of things, but it obviously depends on how you learn. You might need somebody else to help direct what you need to do next, or you just need a little bit of a push from somebody else. I sometimes need that, but honestly I prefer to do things on my own, so I like the little sort of knick-knacky things of writing things down and making notes, having lists, and yeah, I just go from there. So hopefully that helps and makes sense. What would you have done differently when you were at school? I don't know. I was pretty boring at school. I graduated high school, 6 years ago now? Yeah, 6 years ago I would have graduated, year 12, and I was pretty boring. I mean, I went to house parties, I was in the group that was like the middle ground between like the really popular kids and obviously like the kids that sort of stuck to themselves. I was definitely sort of in the middle. I was in the, you know, I knew people here and I knew people here, but my main friendship group was all the people in between, and I definitely don't regret having the friends that I had. Probably the biggest thing that I regret is potentially having boyfriends in high school, but honestly I don't really regret that necessarily. I think I just would have done it a little bit differently. I think I wouldn't have let my feelings go too far too quickly in the way that I did. I think that I was definitely immature in that sense, but I think also it made me grow as a person, and I'm now very much knowing what I want in a relationship because of those experiences. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, I don't think. It's just definitely something to look back on and be like, this is what happened to me, and this is how I'm gonna deal with it in the future. So I don't really know if I would have done anything differently necessarily, but I definitely think that that side of my high schooling life could have been done a little bit differently for sure. Alrighty, oh no. Here's where the juicy questions start. How many people have you slept with? Ooh, I don't know if I want to say. No, we're being open and we're being honest about things, aren't we? That's the whole point of this. I have slept with 13 people. That is my number. I don't think it's high, and I don't necessarily think it's low either. For a long time it was sitting pretty low. Again, I had 2 boyfriends in high school. One of them went on to be further than high school, a year out of high school. I've had 3 seriously long relationships with people as well. So for someone who has not necessarily had a lot of casual sex and also been in a lot of long-term relationships, I think it's pretty fair. The number jumped pretty significantly between my second and third relationships, and then it has since jumped a little bit since coming out of my last relationship. So I don't necessarily think that it's a number that I'm necessarily guilty of. I tell people if they ask. I don't really care too much about it. It's just weird publicly saying it on the internet. So there's that. What has your experience been living away from home? I've definitely loved it. I've enjoyed it. It's been a lot different, I guess, to potentially what other people would experience living out of home for the first time. I live in a small room. It is essentially a uni dorm. For people who have never been in the mining industry before, I live in what's called a donga, and it's essentially a shipping container sized room, essentially, or split in half almost, like half the size of a normal shipping container. And it's got a bathroom and a bed and a desk and a mini fridge and a cupboard, and that's it. It's pretty basic, but it works. It's good for what I need it to do. Yes, I would love if there was a kitchen. I would love to be able to cook things that aren't from the mess or aren't able to be cooked with a kettle, but it's honestly great. The bathroom's a really good size. The room itself is a pretty good size. I've got a single bed, or like just a little bit bigger than a single bed. It's in between a single and a king, and it's, look, it's not the best, but I guess it's just me, so it doesn't matter. But it's been good. It's been definitely something that I didn't think was going to happen for a while. I was expecting to live at a home and work in the city and live with my parents for a couple more years maybe before moving out of home. And I guess because technically I've moved out, but I haven't fully moved out, it's kind of a nice separation between my family life and my now personal life. So it's been good, it's been fun, but I definitely kind of wish that it was a little bit different, living in a house maybe, but it's what I wanted to do, and I knew that coming into taking this job. So I think for the most part it's been good. It's been really good. Oh, another question that I think a lot of people are wondering. I have sort of touched on this a little bit already, but I haven't really given the full story, and I don't know if I'm necessarily ready to give the full story. But the question is, why did you and Liam break up? So if you guys didn't know, Liam is my ex-boyfriend. Oh, I don't like saying that. He is my ex-boyfriend. He's not dead. We didn't break up because he died. That's probably a positive thing. And we broke up about a month ago, a little bit over a month ago. I don't really like keeping the date of that because I don't want a date to be have a bad connotation to it. And yeah, we just broke up. It's very boring. I kind of wish that it was something a little bit cooler, a little bit more drama filled, if you will, because it would honestly make it a lot easier. But we broke up because just different life paths. I'm here, he's there. The distance was definitely getting to me, and I think it was getting to him a little bit too as well. I wasn't able to see him all the time, and when I saw him it just didn't feel the same as what it did when I lived in Brisbane. And unfortunately we were just going in different directions. I'm wanting to stay out here longer than what I thought I would. He's obviously growing in his career space and learning so much in his job, and potentially moving jobs now as well, since other things have happened in his work life. But yeah, it's really boring. It was amicable, we spoke about it. I didn't want to do anything super rash before I'd spoken to him about it, but ultimately I think that was what was going to happen in the end, which sucks. It sucks, but it's just what happens, and I think for the most part that's just what happens. It's what happens in life, I guess. But yeah, I am so happy for him, and I'm obviously here for him. We dated for 3.5 years, so he is definitely a big part of my life, and we still remain friends, and we still talk like occasionally. And yeah, I just know that if I needed to call him or he needed to call me, like, we would pick up. So I think it's one of those things where it's like, it's just right person, wrong time. And unfortunately I don't know if there's ever going to be a right time. So yeah, I'm really happy that I was able to get that out without crying. Let's move on. All right, here's a fun little one. How much money do you make? I think it's pretty obvious that I make the above minimum wage. I work in the mining industry, and I think anybody with a brain can go onto Google and type up Australian mining industry salary and get an estimate of what I would potentially be making. It is probably higher than what I am making. Unfortunately, Enviro graduates don't really get as much as potentially what my counterparts are getting in the engineering space, but I do make a decent amount. I will not be sharing how much I make, unfortunately, but if you have Google, you can try and find my salary. I'm salary based, I'll give you that. I am technically paid an hourly rate, but I'm salary based, so realistically I can kind of work whenever, wherever. I just have to hit the minimum amount of hours. I definitely work more than what I actually am paid for as well. But that's a conversation that I don't need to be having with anyone at the moment. I'm very happy with my job. If I was working in Brisbane, I would have been paid 30 to 20k less than what I'm making at the moment. So I think that's definitely goes to show that I am in a fortunate position to be making this kind of money, and it's all going to savings, most of it, bar the occasional things that I like to buy online. All right, how do you find routine after not having one? That's tricky, because I have a routine, but it's definitely not a set in stone routine. I know people that are like constantly getting up at a certain time in the morning, you know, going on a run, going for a walk, going for a ride, whatever it is. And then there's people obviously having like nighttime routines. I don't necessarily have like a specific one. I get up in the mornings. I don't shower in the mornings anymore. I shower at nights, which is something different for me, which is something my body has had to adjust to as well. So that's like a new routine for me, is just realizing that I'm not gonna have enough time or enough effort in the mornings to get up. I'm getting up at 4:30 in the morning to go to work for 6 a.m. Like I don't really want to be showering and having to do all of that in the mornings. I'm barely awake. So that's an adjustment to my routine that I have had to make. And I found it to be pretty tricky, for sure. And it's something that I haven't done for a while. So I think just sticking to it and saying to myself, like, I need to shower, like I need to brush my teeth, I need to do this thing, I need to go work out, like I need to go for a walk, even if it's just like a 30-minute walk around the block kind of thing, like I need to do it. And I think setting somewhat of a time frame to it, like doing it before a certain time, not saying I'm gonna do it at 8 a.m. or whatever time it is. I'm gonna do it before midday or like before 5 p.m. or whatever it is, because then at least you're sort of holding yourself accountable, but also not setting that goal specifically, because I think setting specific goals, at least for someone like me, can be very damaging, because I get really upset when I don't hit those goals. So when you set lower expectations and lower goals, it makes it a lot easier, obviously, to like plan ahead and get that routine in place. Do you believe in manifestation / karma? I do, but I don't. I don't know if I necessarily believe in manifestation. I believe I believe in karma, for sure. I do believe that like if you've done the wrong thing by someone or something, that you will have something similar happen to you, or something bad will happen to you. Not necessarily in like a dramatic way, but just something inconvenient might happen to you, or yeah, something of that vein in the sense of karma. I don't really know if I believe in manifestation necessarily. I think I more believe in just like it's a chance thing that things happen to us. I do believe though that everything does happen for a reason. I don't necessarily believe that it's planned, but I do believe that something happens for a reason. Like there's a reason behind everything happening. You meet that person for a reason. You get that job for a reason. You leave that job for a reason. You take that opportunity that you've been given for a reason. You don't take that opportunity for a reason. Like I think it's definitely that side of things, like you've been given these things for a reason, and whether or not you believe in that reason is obviously different, but I do believe that everything happens for a reason. Like that has to happen. Like I don't think my brain can really comprehend things happening without reason or happening due to something else. Like yeah, it just seems a bit weird. My brain can't comprehend things happening by chance necessarily, but also it can. It's a bit tricky. It's a bit of a loaded question. I believe in karma for sure though. I definitely have seen my fair share of that happening to both myself, like fair game kind of thing, and also definitely other people as well. So it's definitely one of those things where I've been like, karma's gonna fucking get that person 6 months later. Yep. Exactly how I thought it was going to play out. So yeah, that's a good one though. I like thinking like that for sure. All right, who is your celebrity hall pass? I don't know if I have like a specific person, like one person, you know what I mean? I think Dom Dollar, 100%. Apparently he might have a girlfriend though, which I was a little bit sad about, because I've just become single and I love DJing. I love the vibes. So that's a little bit sad because apparently she's really pretty, but like happy for them, but also sad for me. So yeah, probably Dom Dollar. Who else? I think I would honestly like hall pass a lot of celebrities if they were like willing, you know what I mean? Like Dom Dollar is definitely probably like the one I guess that I could say to people if people asked me that. I don't really know who else I would necessarily celebrity hall pass. Yeah. I'll have to think about it. What is your type? I'm gonna assume type in men. I love someone taller than me. I've actually only dated one person taller than me out of my 3 relationships that I've had, and he was my first ever boyfriend. My other 2 long-term relationships have been shorter than me, which isn't a bad thing. I am a tall girly. I'm like 5'10", 5'11", depending on how I'm standing and shit. Like borderline 5'11", so I'm very tall. But I love a taller guy. I don't know why. I guess, no, I don't know. Like height isn't a super big thing to me, but I think if they are taller than me, then I'm more attracted to them in a way, like in a weird way, for sure. Love a mustache, hence the Dom Dollar hall pass from before. I love hair. I'm a big hair person. I love a mullet, like a dirty mullet. I love a longer hair. I also really love brown haired guys, like my kind of brown, maybe even darker. But I also really love blondes. I don't know, it really depends. I've had like this weird I've had this weird fascination with gingers, rangers. I don't know why, but I love a ranger. I think that would be like my like guilty pleasure. I just find all redheads attractive, male or female. I don't know why. It's like a weird thing. And I'm not trying to like make them a kink. I find them really cute, like really hot. I don't know. All the redheads that I know are like attractive. So I think maybe it's just I just feel like it's, you know, luck of the draw in that sense. But yeah, I don't really know. I love a guy who can make me laugh, but not laugh in the way that's like, it's like, yeah, like I love it like dirty humor. And and just someone who's like witty. I think witty is probably the way that I would say it. Like, I like a guy who's witty, who's really quick on their feet, who can like bounce back and be like sarcastic. If I like say something, I want them to like respond in the same way. I love that. I love a guy who's like interested in his work, but not to the point of like not being able to see me all the time. So I think that's definitely like a red flag, is if you're like a workaholic. I'm not really big on like workaholics, because I think I just enjoy, like, I'm very much like a physical touch, personal time kind of person, so like quality time person. So, but I do love a man who works, and I love a man in uniform. That's also something that I love. It doesn't matter the uniform, just as long as you have a uniform. But I don't know. I don't really, I have a type, and it's really hard to describe my type. So my best friend could probably tell everyone what my type is, to be honest. But yeah, unfortunately I have a type, but it's pretty generic. So yeah. Do you think you'll ever move back to Brisbane? Maybe. If you'd asked me this 3 months ago, I would have said, yeah, like, you know, I'll do the 2 years out here and then I'm gonna move back. But I'm learning so much about the area, and I'm learning so much about the people, and I just love it. I love not necessarily where I am specifically, but just this area of the world is just so incredible, and there's so much to explore and so much to do. And I definitely am more interested in like the slow life, but I do miss the partying. I miss being able to go out on weekends. I miss just being able to go out with friends. I miss hanging out with friends. I miss the cafe culture, that side of things, and live music as well. I miss that a lot. So I think I definitely wish that I could go back more than what I do, but I don't necessarily know if I would ever move back. Maybe when I have kids, because Brisbane's such a good city in Australia for like young families and children and schools and stuff, but I don't know necessarily if I would move back in the next like couple of years. I still think that this area of the world has things for me, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's to come in that space. Alrighty, that is all the questions that I had written down on my phone that people had asked me before and I hadn't gotten to answer, or new questions that had come up from people as well. I do appreciate you guys tuning in and watching the video. I really had a lot of fun answering your questions, and it's been a lot of fun being able to just talk to the camera and be like transparent and not really care about what other people think. I'm probably gonna go and make and have a little bit of bite to eat. And then I might even edit this video, honestly, because I kind of want to like get it out sooner rather than later. But I love you all. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you for joining. Check out all my links in my bio if you guys wanted to check out my live streams on Twitch. I play games and also do a lot of chatting and answering all your questions over there as well. So if you wanted to get a live reaction to a question that you asked, feel free to check that out. Check out my Discord and also my Instagram and my TikTok. I'm trying to get back into social media after having a little bit of a break, and I've been really enjoying it so far. So I'm going to try and do a lot of videos like this. So if there's any other questions that you guys have, feel free to ask on any of my platforms, and I'll try and sort of collate a couple more videos or a couple more questions about it. Maybe even do like a drunk sort of video, like a say it or shot it or something like that with your questions. But other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your time zones, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye!